It is a 6-step process, and each letter in the word active stands for one of the steps. So we begin with A. Allow yourself to be human. Hard as we try, we are not superheroes. We're not going to win every battle. So please give yourself a break. Take a real vacation. Go out with friends and have a good time and try not to feel guilty about it. Okay, C is create something tangible to remind you of your victories. My friend Cindy Machado at Marin Humane Society calls this her Attagirl file. Okay? It could be a collection of your letters to the editor. It could be a scrapbook of a campaign you worked on. It can be a website. It could be anything that you can think of that you can look on when you're feeling low to remind you that you're fighting the good fight. Okay, T is talk to someone you trust. Inside the movement, outside the movement, family, friends. If you have one person with whom you dare to be yourself, that is a gift. Animal activism is an emotionally loaded endeavor. And as sensitive people, it is critical that we unburden ourselves. If you're feeling that despair, that depression, that anger, don't keep it bottled up. Talk to people about it. Get it out. It's healthy. It's okay. It's also okay to talk to a therapist if you need to. Okay, I. Ignore upsetting text and images, at least until you're feeling better. If you're feeling that stress, depression, that anger, that's probably not the best time to get out that DVD of Earthlings to watch with Uncle Fred. For me, it's the seal slaughter images, the websites, the magazine articles. I work on the campaigns. I do not need to see another sealer with a hack-a-pick in his hand beating a baby seal to death. So I know myself well enough to say, that's where I draw the line. I don't need that. So keep a distance from those things until you're feeling stronger.
I have a question. Should I wait till the end?
Yeah, just wait. Okay. Okay, V is visit an animal sanctuary. Okay, V could also be for volunteer at an animal sanctuary. I volunteer at an animal sanctuary in the Bay Area called Animal Place. And I am constantly amazed by how many activists have never rubbed a pig's belly or whistled to a turkey to hear him gobble back or watched a hen take a dust bath. I was fortunate to be part of a large-scale rescue of about 2,000 hens from a battery egg operation in California. And many of these hens ended up at Animal Place, where I volunteer. And these hens, I'm sure most of you are familiar with the battery cage, but it's about the size of a file cabinet drawer. It's made of wire, and it's generally filled with 7 to 8 hens. These animals cannot spread their wings. The birds I saw were covered in filth, in feces and urine, because they were rained on from the hens above. And I pulled hundreds of these birds out of cages myself. And I cannot think of a better tonic for avoiding burnout than to see these animals today. So unlike how I saw them when I first rescued them. They didn't even look like animals, some of them. You saw a face, you know, with the tip of the beak cut off. That's it. The rest was a blob. Today these birds are beautiful. White feathers, Best of all, they're enjoying being hens. They have friends. They have social lives. They can enjoy the sunshine. They get nutritious food. Pecking, scratching. They can take a dust bath. Get some face time with the faces you're working so hard to protect. And if you volunteer at a sanctuary, it's also a great place to work up a sweat. Which brings me to my 6th point, exercise. Run, walk, bike, hike, swim, go to the gym, yoga, work at a sanctuary. Whatever you can do, try to get out and do it. Shortly after I got involved in activism, I decided I was going to stop running. I said, I'm not going to spend all these hours a week doing something selfish when I could be working on a campaign or leafleting, writing letters. It was a huge mistake. I lost energy. I lost clarity. I lost my focus. Maybe worst of all, I quickly realized I could no longer drink as much Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and still fit into my pants. So please get out there and sweat. So let me recap those 6 steps. Allow yourself to be human. Create something tangible to remind you of your victories. Talk to someone you trust. Ignore upsetting text and images. Visit or volunteer at an animal sanctuary. And exercise. This movement has lost too many good people. People who are fighting the good fight, pushed themselves too far, got so depressed that they had to give up. They had to drop out. Please do not be one of them. Now, I'd like to open the floor for questions. Nettie, you had a question.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the use of graphic videos and images? When, how, with who? I mean, if you invited a bunch of friends to your house and said, let's watch Earthlings, and it's, too much. Like,
yeah.
Are they?
I think that those images are great. I think they're really important. They're very powerful. I think that you need to just be aware of your audience. If you're out on a street corner with the images, a lot of people are just going to walk by, but most people do acknowledge it. Most people see it, and they don't want to look at it. But that might be their first and only exposure up to that point about animal abuse. And I forgot exactly what the saying is, but it's something like 7 points of information that people need before they really make a connection, like in advertising. They need to hear it 7 times. And I think that that's true with activism. I think people need to see several times or get that information from several different sources, which is why I think that different facets of activism are so important. People ask me, what do I think is the most important? I think they're all important, and we need all of them. So to your point about at home, I think if you let people know, don't spring it on them.